Welcome back to another class of geography and to our second revision class. In this class also we are continuing our first chapter, that is representation of geographical features. In today's class we will deal with types of the settlement pattern, as well as we'll try to do at least 2 or 3 cross sections of the relief features. So let's begin our class with types of the settlement pattern. So what is this settlement pattern? The way in which settlement comes up, that is the kind of the settlement pattern. So we have 3 kinds of settlement pattern. The first one is nucleated, also called as compact. Nucleated settlement. So when the settlements are very close together, or when the number of houses are built very close together, such kind of pattern or settlement we call it as nucleated pattern. This is how it looks like. When the houses are built close to each other, we call it as settlement pattern, nucleated settlement. Now, why these kinds of settlements come up, or what are the factors behind coming up of these kinds of settlement? First one, it depends on the area or the topography of an area. If an area is a plain land in the sense, if it is a fertile river plain or a river valley area, or along the coastal lines or coastal areas, we come across this nucleated pattern. Why? One of the main advantages is the land is plain. The location is favorable to build the houses close together. We have the scope of building the houses close together. So imagine if the area was a mountainous area, or an area was a hilly area, or a plateau region, this would have been not possible, because the land has unevenness. On one side it may be a flat land, on other 2 sides it may have a steepness, or it may have an elevation. So because of those type of unevenness, we cannot see nucleated pattern. So one thing, in fertile plain areas we come across this pattern. Not only fertile plain areas, across the river valleys. Second one, in such areas usually the fertility of the soil will be very good. Why not? The area comes under the fertile river valleys. Obviously the fertility of the soil will be good. And when we talk about the occupation, it is majority or majorly related to agriculture. We come across, or we see that in nucleated pattern areas, it is the agriculture which plays a prominent role. And I remember while explaining in the class, I said that people usually in such areas, people want a productive utilization of their land. So because of that productive utilization of the land, they build the houses close together and leave a major part of the area for the agricultural fields. Then these areas can support a large population. Yes, they do support a large population because houses are built close together. That means we can build many number of the houses, and not only that, the area is a fertile land, agricultural prosperity will be there. So it can support the large number of people. And then one peculiar feature is in the older towns, the streets were narrow. ಮನೆಗಳು ಭಾಳ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಇದ್ದಾಗ obviously streets narrow ಆಗ್ತದೆ. That was the case when it was in the older towns. But in the new modern towns or in the new modern areas, the streets are wider. They are the well-planned areas, though they come under nucleated pattern, but still the streets are wider. And then yes, this was about the nucleated pattern, also called as compact pattern. The next one is dispersed pattern or isolated pattern. Dispersed, when the houses are far apart, such pattern we call it as dispersed pattern. See here, see the difference between this nucleated and the dispersed. Here the houses were close to each other. Here the houses are built very far from each other. Then the next question is why? What may be the conditions behind? The conditions may be it is a highland, as said earlier. If it is a highland, if it is a mountainous area, or if it is a hilly area, because of the unevenness of the land, we cannot build the houses close to each other. Example, mountainous areas. See, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the pattern is dispersed or isolated. Why? Because it is a mountainous area. Or for that matter, in the state of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, again it is dispersed pattern because the topography of the land is as such. Or it may relate to the poor soils, even in the area which does not have the fertility of the soil. The best example are the desert areas. See, in desert areas, apart from other conditions, it is also the fertility. In such areas, in desert areas, the soil is extremely infertile. So when the soil is infertile, it does not support large population. Then, lack of water supply. Yes, we can relate to this. Now, let me give you a general example for this lack of water supply. See, imagine if we are searching a rented house, we inquire about that locality, we inquire about all the amenities, etc. And in that particular locality, if the water supply is not there, we never like to stay in, isn't it? So, this is the same case. In such areas, the demand for the houses will come down. Here, when the lack of supply of water is not proper or lack of water supply, even if the houses are built close to each other, it is difficult to provide water for such houses. Obviously, that is not the condition. Houses will not be close together in such areas. It is always the isolated scenario. Or if the area has adverse climatic conditions. Best example is even the so for example in India, Ladakh, Union Territory of Ladakh, adverse climatic conditions. So because of that, dwellings are far apart from each other. Or take the example of Arctic Pole, North Pole region. In those regions, because throughout the year it is under the freezing conditions, people don't stay over there, but even though they stay in igloo-like homes, they are very dispersed or isolated. So this was all about the dispersed pattern. The next pattern is linear pattern or ribbon pattern. Linear pattern, also called as ribbon pattern or straight line pattern. So in this kind of settlement, the houses are close to each other, no doubt, but they are built or they appear as if they are in the straight line. So such pattern we call it as linear pattern. And here the houses are built across a river or a road line, railway line, etc. Or they develop along road lines, railway lines, rivers, etc. Then, talking about the occupation in this region, as these areas develop along road lines, railway lines, etc., it is mostly related to the tertiary sector. That is related to the manufacturing, related to collection of the goods, dispatching of the goods. These become like a collection center. These things we have not seen in these two kinds of pattern, but we are witnessing that here. So again, the growth of the settlements also depends on various other factors like availability of the water, fertility of the soil, topography of the land, etc. So this was all about the types of settlement pattern. I am repeating again, when you write this answer, please do give the proper diagram for each kind of settlement. So the last part of this topic is to draw the cross section of the various contour or various relief features. So now we'll try to draw at least two kinds of the relief features. This again, when asked you, I had given you the assignment with respect to this relief features, and many of you drawn this in a very wrong manner. No numbering, no shading, shape of the land is different, and what you have drawn is entirely different. So be careful, this is important. So practice this not only from for this 8th standard, again it is important for your 10th standard also. So here let's draw the relief feature of a mountain. How does this look like? First let me draw on both the sides S. I'm not using any scale, but when you are using, please do use the scales. Let me try with the scale also. S. Numbering is important. The way you number it. Draw these horizontal lines so that it becomes easy for you to number, because when we number it on both the sides, if we don't draw the horizontal lines, there may be unevenness. I am starting from 800, 900, 1000, 1100, 1200 and 1300. On this side also, I'll try to do it to maintain the evenness. 1000, 1100, 1200 and 1300 on both the sides. Now In the middle part, we have to draw the contours, and the contours are always drawn freehand. The first contour is of 1300, 1200 S, 1200. Next one is of 1100, C, 1000, 900. The last contour is of 800. This is how it looks like. Now, what I said to you is, from the edge of both the, from the edge of the contour, draw till the, this one, this line, right? From edge of the every contour. This is my 800 contour line. Draw a vertical line and reach up to 800 point. This is our 800 point, right? Same here also. From the edge of the 800 contour up to 800. This is our 800. In the same manner, do for every other line. So, repeat the same for every other contour line. From the edge of the 900 is draw till 900 one, right? Because this is our 900 mark. Have you seen here? This says this is our 900 mark. So I have drawn till only till the 900. This is why I said if you draw the horizontal line, it becomes easier for you to figure out where we have to stop. Now from the edge of 1000, yes, this is the 1000th point. Yes, this is 1000. 1100 it is. From the edge of every contour line, draw up to the respective number. This is 1100. See, there is a slight variation over the here and here. As I've not drawn the horizontal lines, you can see the unevenness. Next one is 1200. Here it is 1200. Same here also. Come to 1200. This is the 1200. The last one is 1300. This is the 1300. I hope. Yes. Right? This is how it looks like. Now start. Plot a dot. Dots come in increasing order, no problem. Yes, here you get two dots actually. For 1300, on the successive sides you get 2200, 1000, 1100, 1000, this is 900, this is our 800 point. Now join all these dots, just like how you draw the graph in the same manner. Now let me start from the bottom and I'll start joining all these lines, and this is how this looks like. Feature of a, If you draw this still closer together, we get an elevation. Here, if I draw it still more closer, we get an elevation. And after that, shading of this feature is also essential. Shade this part. And one more thing, whenever we draw the contour, cross section of a contour, we always draw it in a plain paper. We never use the ruled papers. So many of you have committed that mistake of drawing this in the ruled paper. So this is how the contour of a mountain looks like. This is important. There is nothing. From the edge of every contour line, draw that vertical line and bring it up to that particular number. Here, this is the 800 contour, and I have brought up from the edge, from the side till the 800 meters. Bring up to that particular elevation or or particular number. Just drop it over there. Do this for every other contour line and join it. You will get the contours, cross section of that contour line. Now let's try the cross section of a plateau. This was the mountain. The next is cross section of a plateau. What is a plateau? Plateau is a tableland, that is the middle portion is a plain land or an elevated land, and it has steep side slopes, that what we call it as a plateau. Now cross section of a plateau. Pattern method of drawing for every relief feature is the same on both the sides. Yes. Then start the numbering. Let's start from 400, 400, 500, 400, 500. The contour interval is 600, 700 and up to 800. The contour interval is 100, right? On this side 400, 500, 600, 700 and 800. Draw the cross section of this tableland. In the middle, as it is a flat land, 800 contour, then 700, which is bit closer to the 800 one, 700. See, from 700 they are quite wider. They are quite wider. 600. See the 500 one. 500. Let me stop for 500 itself. Now the same procedure. From the edge of the contour, bring it to the respective lines. From the edge of every contour. Yes. Repeat the same process. This is the 601. Same here also. 600. right? Now for the 701, here also I am repeating the same thing. From the edge of every contour, please do draw a vertical line. As this is a revision class, have yes. Now joining the points. Yes. This is the 501, sorry 800, 700, 600, 500. Now start joining the points. This is how your tableland looks like. This is how the plateau looks like, which is an elevated land in the middle and it has steep slopes on both the sides. Shading is as important as drawing. This is how the plateau looks like. So this was all about the cross section of the physical relief features of mountain and a plateau. Here we complete the revision of our first chapter. Remaining cross sections you have to practice by yourself because we have already done in all those things in our classes. So we'll meet in our next class with next chapter. Thank you.